I picked up this brand new water tank from Rome Adventures. I'm on their email list, and this is something new. It looks like a new product. As far as I can tell, it's a brand new product. They have two versions of this water tank, a 5-gallon and a 7-gallon. Of course, I had to get the larger one. I do have a full-size truck I'm going to put it on, so why not? So today we're going to go through and I'm going to show you everything that it came with. I'm going to put it on my extrusion overland Bedrack, and we're going to see how it works. It's a pressurized water tank that comes with a head, a shower head, a spray nozzle type head that you can adjust the pressure on right here. But there's no batteries in it. It's all pressurized by air pump or air compressor. So we're going to look at that. Stick around. We're going to see what this looks like. Taking the tank out of the box, you can see it right here. When I first saw this, I'm like, oh, a water tank for the top of your bed rack. That's cool. I mean, it's long and skinny, and it's obviously made to mount up on top of a bed rack or maybe even a roof rack. It shows the instructions that come with it really kind of show a roof rack more than anything. But you can, mount it whatever your unique situation is. I didn't realize at first that it actually came with a hose. But it does. It comes with a water hose. Now, here's the water hose right here. It fell on the ground. I'm going to have to put the ends on this water hose, the instructions right here. It comes with all the parts you need. But step one in camp showering assembly is to attach the hose to the water tank. Well, it doesn't say anything about attaching the end to the hose. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is attach the end of the hose. This is a pressure fitting right here. And then it's got a quick disconnect to attach to the tank itself. But once this part of the hose once this end is connected to the hose, it should be fairly secure, I hope. Hopefully it doesn't leak. I'm going to see how that works. It did come with some Teflon tape right here. And it came with a few other things. So I'm going to walk through this and put all this together right now. But that's the tank itself. This is the end where the hose connects. This is a cap here, I think, for draining and whatnot. It comes with a cap. This little cap right here, this right here, goes on the end of it. And then the hose kind of clamps into these clamps on the side here. And this is your fill hole. Open this up and fill this up with water from whatever water source you want. Now, it does say on the website when you order this, and probably on this label right here that I have not read yet, this is not potable water. So it's not really made for drinking. It's made for showering, or for like spraying off your tires or something like that after you get muddy or whatever. But it's not really made to be drinking, so don't drink the shower water, I guess, also. But this is the pressure release, and this right here is where you fill the air. So what you do is you fill the water, and it's sealed right here, and you attach an air compressor, or they even show like a bicycle air pump on the website. And you pump it up to 30 psi, according to the instructions that I read, and it pressurizes the water. And then you grab your nozzle and spray off whatever you want to spray off. It's got these settings here: jet, center, cone, full, flat, flood, shower. So there's an actual shower mode right there. Maybe it's a little bit lower pressure. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit higher pressure. Who knows? But that is what all that is. Then you can adjust the flow of water with the lever right here. So we're going to put this together and see what it looks like on the truck. Different time. So what happened was I got this in the mail, and I started the first part of this video about 2 days after I got it in the mail. And you can see right here, this is actually broken. This part right here should be attached to right here. And apparently this is some pressure relief valve or maybe a drain valve, because the water fill port is on the top right there. And then this is the only other valve. So this is some sort of drain valve. So I sent a picture of this to Rome, and within an hour, they had 2 emails back to me. The first one that came through was actually a shipping notification that they were shipping me another one. And the second one was, hey, we apologize. Yep, we can see it's broken. We'll just ship you another one of these, and you can install it yourself. And I'm like, well, that's fine. That's not a problem. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. Maybe it's this entire thing. I haven't got it yet. That was just yesterday when that happened. So hats off to Rome Adventure Company customer support. I mean, like I said, I emailed them, and they had a reply to me in an hour, and they had the shipment go out. Actually, but the shipment notification email actually got to me before their reply did. Probably just the way the email works. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that. You know, I would rather buy a product from a company that might have an issue or two and they have excellent customer service than have a product from a company that has terrible customer service or no response, and where the product might be a little bit more solid, but if you ever run into any issues or questions or comments or anything like that, they just won't reply to you, or they're rude when they do. So thumbs up for Rome Adventure Company support and customer service so far. So I'm going to get this thing installed. I did confirm with them that I could go ahead and install this tank on my rack, and I could replace that valve later. They said that should not be a problem. They're like, well, you're going to have to climb up to the top of the rack to replace it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do that to fill the water port every time anyway. So what difference does it make? So yeah, so we're going to get this installed today and see what it looks like on top of this extrusion overland rack that I've got. I think that I mentioned before also how these instructions don't really tell you that you have to attach the ends to the hose. I have to attach this end, this right here. I have to attach this to the hose, and then this is a quick disconnect that goes on to the valve here. But the instructions don't say that. They're just assuming that the ends are already on the hose. So I explained that to them in my original email to them, and they're like, hey, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We're going to update that. We want you to have the best experience and have the most accurate information. So they were very receptive to that as well. I thought that was good. Right now I've just got it sitting up there, and the way it mounts is these bolts right there. There's two rails on the bottom. Well, there's two rails. There's a front rail and a back rail on the bottom of the tank, and then there's a left and a right side on the rail. So you can you got multiple options for mounting it, which is kind of neat. So you put your clamps, I guess you could put them, I guess you could put your bolts on one on either side, and the clamp would go sideways instead of right across. But the point is, you can move it up and down the entire length of that rail, so you can move it back on the rack as far as you want, almost as far to the tank. So you can line it up. It's very easy to line up. I could even move it. I think I'm going to put it right there, but I could move it, and I could put it up towards the front of the truck over these two, the middle post and the front post. This is an extrusion overland XTR3 rack, and their original rack, the XTR1, has a front vertical here and a rear vertical here and nothing in the middle. This one was created later for larger capacity, larger vehicles, whatnot. I think you can still get them for the smaller trucks, but it obviously holds more because of the extra support in the middle. So I've got more mounting options, because this tank that runs horizontally long ways along my truck, what I would call front to back, I guess, mounts to the perpendicular mounting struts or arms on my rack. So if I only had a front and a back, I don't think this tank would fit on this specific model. This is an F250. So this rack here is 72 inches long. So it's limiting in some regards, and I guess not limiting in other regards. But I think I'm going to put it right there. I think it looks good right there. That'll allow me to bring the water down to like back here on the back of the truck. And if I ever wanted to mount a shower or anything on this side of the truck, I could raise this arm up and put it up there, or I could move that center arm out. There's multiple options. These extrusion racks are very modular, very customizable. So I think that's what we're going to do right there. Okay, we got it all mounted up right there, and I did the crisscross section. Did one bolt in the left side, one bolt in the right side on that section. And then this section over here, I did one of each. You see it's bowed a little bit. I try not to tighten it down too much. The head of the bolt that they sent with it that goes in the rail of the actual case, the head of the bolt was twisting a bit. It's just a touch too small. So, but I was able to get it cinched down, no problem. It's on there nice and tight. I've got it straight in line, parallel with the cross member of the Bedrack, because if I didn't, it would drive me nuts. I filled it with water, and I've used my little Airmoto USB-C rechargeable air tank, or air compressor rather. I don't know if you can see that or not. The screen on this thing's very dim, but it's got 32. I shut it. The tank is rated for 30 psi, and this little unit stops it starts reading PSI around 20 PSI. So I just let it run, and then it started at 20, 21. It went up really fast. It took less than probably 2 minutes to pressurize the tank fully. It's showing 32 PSI on the screen of the Air Moto right now, just because it's not the most accurate meter in the world. But, you know, somewhere in that neck of the woods is probably good. This is a standard tire pressurized gauge. So the same type of air pump, air compressor, tire pump. In fact, the manual that Rome sends for this thing shows like a bicycle air pump being used to pressurize this. Of course, I'm not going to carry one of those with me. I've already got my Air Moto, and you can stop on the way and air up if you want to. And I'm curious to see how long this thing's going to stay pressurized. But we got it pressurized right now. I can pull this right here to release the pressure if I want to. It's full of water right now. So, and it's a little bit pointed downhill. My driveway faces a little bit forward. So all the water is down here right now. I'm not sure if I got the full 7 gallons because it is at an angle. We're going to take that hose off and we're going to see what it looks like. All right, moment of truth. I haven't even turned this thing on yet. This will be the first time on camera. The good news is that my connections here, where I had to attach the end to the hose, and there are not leaking. So that's good. So let's see what this looks like here. Okay. Nope. No good there. Okay. I wonder if there's something blocking it in that thing down there. It's been about a week, maybe a week and a half since I recorded the first part of this video. This came in the mail a couple of days ago, and it was this whole assembly right here. This part is still loose, although it is tight. I tightened it down. I put a cover over it and used my channel locks to kind of turn it in there. It came with its own Teflon tape. It could probably go in another turn or two, but I think it's okay. I guess we'll find out. But this is the valve. Okay, so what we do is I had to take the old valve out, so it depressurized and leaked out about half of the water. Replaced the new valve, filled the water up again. I'm about to pressurize it. And when it's pressurized, you turn this valve, and that turns the water flow on into the hose. So it's just a quarter turn like that, very easy. And that's what turns the water off and on when there's water in the tank already. Now the question is, after I replaced the valve, the water tank still had about, I don't know, maybe 1/3 to 1/2 of its water in it. And I pressurized it, but it never really, the tire pressure gauge, it never would come up to 30 PSI. So I probably could have, I let it go for a few minutes. I probably could have let it go longer, but I didn't. So the question is, but it didn't come up to 30 PSI. It did work. I sprayed the spray nozzle and water came out. So the question becomes, once you fill it up to the full 7 gallons and pressurize it, as you use that water, as you turn that nozzle on and the water's coming out, air pressure's coming out at the same time, once it gets down to a certain level, is it going to be such a low stream that it's not going to be usable anymore? So only time will tell that. I may have to do a follow-up video later on. But right now I'm going to pressurize it and we're going to show you what it looks like when it's working. There it is right there. Air Moto's running. Pressurize the tank. It's still reading 0. This should start to give me a reading when the pressure comes up to a certain level. Maybe like 15 or 20 pounds, something like that. This is not the strongest air pump in the world, but it does work. There it is, 21 pounds. Okay. So we're going to get it up to 30 PSI. I don't know how well that shows in the camera, but it's showing 23, 24, 25, 25.5 right there. 31. Okay, we're going to leave it there at 30. Kind of as soon as I turn it off, the pressure shot up to 35. I think it's recommended 30 PSI. I believe that's what I read earlier. So we'll see how that works, but that should do it. Take this off. The good news is that it's been probably, like I said, about a week and a half since I first pressurized this and realized that valve was broken. When I went to release the pressure on it just yesterday when I put the valve on, about a week and a half later, this was still pressurized, so it was holding pressure very well. So let's, we're going to turn this on. Bright sun out today, but you know what? It's been raining for like the last week here, so I'm not complaining about the sun right now at all. All right, so now I'm going to turn this valve on. Okay, I heard a little pressurization go on. And now there we go. Now it's got shower, mist, center, jet, flood, flat, full, and cone. I wonder what cone is. All right, this is cone. Yeah, just like that, like a cone of water. Okay. Jet's probably, I wonder how strong jet, well, full. Let's change it to full and see what happens. That's not terrible. Okay, now let's see what jet looks like. Okay, it's just a smaller stream than full is. But that's it right there. It's working great. And this, I'm gonna hang that there for right now, but this goes into these connectors on the side. So that's it. Test successful. What I would like to see in this, I mean, this is brand new. I think they just came out with this. I'm on their email list. I got a message a couple of months ago about a new product about to be released, and they have a 5-gallon and 7-gallon version, like I said before. What I would like to see is two things: a USB-powered, USB-C rechargeable battery that you can replace. You can put where that where the lid is, which is a pressurized lid, and they give you a little tool to take the lid off and on. If there's too much pressure, you can put the tool on the lid and kind of crank it off of there. I'd like to see something like that, a replacement lid with a USB pump in it. So you put the pump inside the water tank, and you charge it up with USB, and maybe it has a switch on the outside on top of the lid or something, and that gives you better pressure. That gives you battery powered pressure rather than just air pressure. Yeah. And then even on top of that, this element that drops down in the tank you can buy these all over Amazon. You can get them on Amazon, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks, something like that. It's a little USB sensor USB pump that you drop into a tank with a hose and a nozzle on it for a sprayer, for a shower, for a camp washing station. And you just drop it into a jerry can, and now you've got portable spray water wherever you go. So something like that's incorporated in here. Plus, you could even add a heater to it if you wanted to. So you could have a USB-C rechargeable battery-powered pump with a heater that drops into the tank, and then you could have heated water, better spraying, maybe stronger spraying water than just the pressurized water we have right now. But, I mean, it's working. It's doing exactly what they said it would. It is, and again, great customer service with that broken valve. I'm sorry that valve was broken in the original shipment, but they sent it to me right away. I've traded a couple emails and asked them questions about other things since then, and they're very responsive. So this is the Roam 7-gallon water tank. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Thanks for watching today.